Essay Sharing Tradition 1. Summary. The essay sharing tradition has been written by Frank Lapena, who presents his personal views on oral tradition, transmission, and values. That is very difficult to maintain our culture in the modern age by the young generation after the death of our respected elders. Frank Lapena has focused on the importance of oral tradition for maintaining our culture, norms, and values, for which young generation should listen to the elders to receive them for future. He says that oral tradition is a method of transmission of our cultures, traditions, norms, and values orally. The essayist starts his essay by sharing his experience of oral tradition and its present condition, in which he finds that it is very difficult to maintain niche position of elders after the death of our respected elders, because we are either fascinated by the modern science and technology or we have no interest in it. In fact, knowledge and responsibilities should be fulfilled by us, but we are very reluctant to it due to the available facilities. Lapena has described the major challenges, problems of oral tradition. They are the difficulty to fill the niche, development of science and technology, modern education system and source of informations. He differentiates oral tradition from literary tradition and claims that oral tradition is very natural and practical in comparison to literary tradition, which it is very difficult to make any correction, but on the other hand, correction is possible by the listeners in oral tradition. Finally, he strongly supports the preservation of oral tradition for our identity and this world be an honor and respect to the elders, despite the modern life in old ways. Important notes. 1. According to Lapena, the tradition followed by our elders must be passed from generation to generation orally. It helps to maintain our cultural resource. Yes, I agree with his opinion, because oral tradition helps the young generation to know about the lifestyle. They can know about their family history. Our culture is our identity. Simply, oral tradition helps people to preserve their identity. 2. Oral tradition is a method of transmission of cultures, norms, and values orally from one generation to another generation. It's duty of young and respected elders to preserve and promote, to pass on their tradition because they are familiar with oral tradition. 3. If the information is not passed from generation to generation, we will not be able to preserve our cultural environment, that is, our oral festivals, religions, norms, and values. We will not be able to preserve our identity and values. 4. The differences between oral tradition and literary tradition is that oral tradition is very natural and practical than literary tradition. Oral tradition is transmitted from one generation to another generation through oral means, whereas literary tradition is transmitted through written means only. 5. Both art and the oral tradition are the form of communication. Lapena tries to convey a message to reader that oral tradition has the source of our inspiration for art. He says that the oral tradition has an impact on how one visualizes the stories, the characters, the designs and color for